Less crew stress. Yeah, don't figure it so. Flicker Rose, Connect Market Street. Still supplies. Well. Not. Let's do that. Let's use the 5. Don't want to necessarily. I need to push it. I need to push it. Okay, resupplied. +2. Shit. Which means that we don't have anything else to do, so just uncycle. Okay, I like how mechanically the game changed here. You wake in the cold of the abandoned unit to an unsettling quiet. The air cyclers whine, the heat diffusers hum, but nothing around you breathes. You are alone. Slowly raise yourself, unclip the straps from the bunk, and allow yourself to drift up in the air. Silence. And then, in that silence, you hear something. A scrape or scuff. It draws your eyes to the unit's doorway where a shape is settled in the dark. I knew you couldn't have gone far. Ankhita shifts in to fill the doorway. I mean, rush her. Remove stress. You kick off hard, dropping your shoulder and tucking your head so you slam into her chest with full force. Ankhita reels back, then spins, wrapping you with both arms, and uses your momentum to whip you around and bundle you back into the unit. She laughs. Not bad. She flexes her shoulder. That was a solid hit. Just calm yourself. Ankhita holds up both hands. That's not caused too much damage. She raises an eyebrow. May I come in? She drifts through the doorway. We don't need any extra attention right now. What are you doing here? Look, just shut up and listen. Ankhita drops her voice. I'm risking everything by coming up here. She says. So don't make this any harder than it is. Whee! She's not entirely horrible! I was hoping for it because Ankhita was my favorite character in the first game. What you need to know is, I'm on your side, I'm on Darkside 3 just like you, and I hate Lane just as much as you do. He decides. Just have different methods, that's all. Raises an eyebrow. You might say better methods, given how well your visit has gone. Should I trust you? I'm the only person who can get you off Darkside, so you better listen closely. Ankhita hisses. It's taken me more cycles than you would believe to get this deep into Utsubo, and I'm not about to give it up for one escapee. But then Lane doesn't usually run all across the belt chasing a lone escapee, even a sleeper. Ankhita drifts a little closer, overshadowing you. So you need to tell me now. What does Lane want with you? Are you so important to him? Don't remember. Ankhita raises an eyebrow. Please tell me you're joking. What you don't understand, Sleeper, is that I've been trying to keep you safe since I saw you arrive, but your friend hasn't made it easy. Getting himself caught by Utsubo is bad enough, but then blabbing about you being here? I can only protect you from so much. Where's Marko? I don't run the gang, he's Oran's. I can't risk starting an internal war. Either way, you're lucky you aren't in the same position, and you have me to thank for that. So I'll ask again, Ankhita meets her eye. Why is Lane pursuing you? Explain that you see Lane in your mind. Ankhita looks away in thought as you explain. She waits for you to finish. None of it makes any sense, but there's no way I'm letting Lane get his prize, not until we understand more. She gives you a hard look. I can get you out, but I need a couple of cycles, and I need you to do something for me. You need to take this with you off station. She produces a thumbnail drive and holds it up. This is everything I've managed to scrape from within Utsubo. The key to challenging Lane is on here, I know it. Take it to Olivera. It's tucked away in a crater in the shoals. The massive debris field beyond the hollow? She means her eye. You give it to Carman. No one else. Ankhita presses the drive into her palm and closes your hand around it. No one but Carman, you understand? Lane's rise has been cruel. He has spilled too much blood. When I'm ready, I will make him pay for that. But Carman needs to analyze what I've got on him to find the right place and moment to strike. Ankhita meets your eye. I knew a sleeper once. I should have trusted them. lets go of your hand. So now, I'm trusting you. I'll get you out and you deliver. That's the deal. Kita cracks her knuckles. Then together we can... Kita shifts sideways, grabbing the side of her head. A few small plastic keys drift through the air. Run, sleeper! Oh, bless your heart, Junie. Junie wields her deck like a club, her face pale and panicked. The shrill whine draws both you and Junie's attention to Ankhita. She's holding a boxy pistol at her waist, its side blinking with a pale indicator light. She is pointing it at Junie. Don't do that again. Ankhita reaches up and touches her temple. You're lucky I don't snap that thing in two, she winces. Especially when I came to save you, clowns. He looks at her questioningly, trembling and unsure. It's a long story. Junie looks between the two of you, confused. Does that mean I shouldn't hit her? I have to go, sleeper. She glances between the two of you. You explain this whole thing to your friend if you want, but I won't be here when you do. Few cycles, be ready to leave. She backs out of the unit. When Lane comes back, you go out. Neither of us wants him to win here. And a piece of advice. Forget Marko. Keep her head down and wait for me. She raises a finger. You need supplies? Steal them in Flicker Row. Otherwise, keep to yourself. Ankhita gives you a hard look and slips out of the unit. Okay. That went well. Oh, bless you, Junie. That was so cute. Oh my god. I can find Marko safely. It's dangerous, but searching the rest for a trace of Marko or Tsubo activity might help you find his trail. Like... I think it's 9. 2 cycles. I think I can do that. Let's push for 5. That will give me Junie. We go, and we are one away. To sleep. Next cycle. Come on. Another one will break. Yep. You wake in the bare unit, cloaked in the endless shadow of Darkside. Outside in the window, the lights of the city glitter, but you do not see them. Your attention is instead on the tugging thread in your mind. Lane, growing ever closer, you shiver. One more cycle, then you are out. Okay, this is... heal supplies? Or not? Well, 5 and a 6. Okay, I'm going to use the 4. Because why the heck not? Marko seems to have been moved to a new location. Though you have no specific memory of it, there is something unpleasantly familiar about the place you have found yourself in. Among the many stack units of the Rise, framed by scaffolding and stretching away from Darkside's reflectors in a way that is only possible in 0G, you have found yourself in a cold corner. Here, a locked door is marked with Utsubo's sigil. A single eel, curled back on itself, its mouth around its own tail. This is the kind of door behind which Utsubo keeps its secrets, its assets. Assets like you and Seraphine were, like Marko is now. It's a door you have been watching, which is why you know there should be an enforcer lazily landed beside it, and why you know you only have moments before they come back. Break the door. Minus stress, let's go. You drop a shoulder and push hard off the opposite wall, aiming for the edge above the lock where it will shear away. You slam into the door and it groans and squeals as the bolt mechanism buckles. You wrench the door aside. You're in. A dim corridor stretches out ahead of you, lined with doors on either side. The memory hits you almost immediately. Long cycles between jobs in a cell like this, awaiting Lane's arrival. Yep, safe. A lie that you believed when you were first brought to a place like this. Most of the cells are dark, empty, but a warm glow spills from around one of the doors. You quickly approach and look in. Marko is tucked into an instant berth, a padded niche like those in any unit. His back is turned to the small window in the door. You slam the exterior lock, release without thinking. Marko's turning over to face the door as it hisses open. Leaper? Freezes for a moment, unsure of your intentions. He raises a hand as if to protect himself, to put something between you and him. Let's go. Marko nods and pushes himself up. He eyes you, but doesn't say a word. Recriminations can wait. You back out into the passageway and Marko follows slowly, tentatively. Time to leave. Lucky me. Dachi floats in the corridor, a knife glinting in his hand. I came to squeeze a little more information from Orange Prize here. He points the long knife at Marko. It looks like I just got everything I need. He closes the gap, raising the knife. Now, stay still. I prefer to deliver you to Lane in one piece. I love that I have positives in both. Oh, attack. Negative stress, we're down 2 points. You feel the knife graze your side, slitting through your thick skin. But your swing your elbow anyway, connecting with Dachi's face as you spin. You feel the crunch of his nose, the solid metal of your skeleton meeting the pliant bone of his. Moments later, Marko and you are streaking through the passages of the rise in the haze, the pain fading, but the fear holding strong, desperate to leave this place once and for all. I don't have really anything to spend this on. Should have gone away, which is a mistake. I can only encycle. Stress. Marko rises from his berth quietly. You haven't really spoken, the two of you kept busy by your own injuries and the constant fear that Daichi will find you. But so far he hasn't, and if Ankhita is to be trusted, this is your final cycle on Darkside. You wait in silence, no one eager to speak. Deep fatigue has set in, and in this moment, all anyone can do is wait for this excursion to be over. He's here. Marko nods at the doorway where a silhouetted figure waits. Ankhita looks at Marko and then at you, a raised eyebrow, the only acknowledgement that you went against her advice. Then he's back on Darkside. We have to go now. Ankhita looks tired, angry. We won't have another chance. Come with me, quickly, quietly. She turns and pushes out into the corridor. June turns to you and nods. You first, sleeper? Ankhita leads you across Darkside, not stopping to look back. The lights and passages flash by, but you barely notice them. All eyes are fixed ahead, on the way out. At some distant part of the station, Ankhita stops at the docking bridge, a small freighter visible through the viewing windows. She slaps the door release and it slides open. She grabs your shoulder, looking into your eyes. Blaine's focus will be on Darkside now. He needs to stop the infighting to shore up Atsubo. If you get out now, he won't follow. Remember, Ankhita hisses the instructions to you. Get that drive to Oliveira. Give it to Carman, no one else, no matter what they say. Thank you. Ankhita simply nods, and then she's gone, disappearing into the endless, winding passages of Darkside. You drift gingerly down the docking tunnel, which leads into the cold and sparse cargo bay of the ship. Once you are inside, there is a hiss, and the doors scissor shut. For a moment, you panic, seeing no exit, no other doors, just a metal-walled bay. Is this a trap? But the engines rumble to life, and you give in to your exhaustion. If Ankhita has tricked you, at least you are leaving this place behind. And then you feel it. Cold fingers reaching into your mind. You are so close. Lion's voice in your ear. You are here. Rustling, a shifting. I can't quite place you. Can't quite put my finger on your sleeper, but I know you are there. What were you doing here? Hoping to confront me, perhaps? Or something else? Yes. I'm right here. Coward. Come and find me. I'll admit I'm not quite ready for you, sleeper. Flicker and a spasm. But so soon this will be all over. The tone begins shrill and inescapable. Let me show you. The tone rises. When it's in the bay of the freighter, the pull of constant acceleration, a comforting pressure against his chest. Lane looks around the bay, taking it in slowly. He inhales the stale air deeply. Lane feels power, feels pride. The sense of control over another excites him. This is his desire. Lane lifts his right hand and turns it in the air, flexing his fingers in a satisfying wave. Something flickers at the corner of your vision for a moment, and you're strained to turn Lane's head. It does not turn, but you swear you see a figure there, in the bay with you. It opens its mouth as if to speak, as if to scream, and then it is gone. A smile grows on Lane's face, a spreading tightness that it has its own impulse. He raises one hand and uses it to grip the smallest finger of the other. A pause, and then a sudden jerk. When he snaps the finger back against the joint, his pain is instant, as is yours. It burns your vision away. When the white-hot blindness has faded, you look out those same metal walls. You hold the same finger in your hand, and as you release it, you see the crooked shape it has been bent into. A shiver runs through you, and you reach back into your own mind to see if any trace, any fragment of Lane remains there. Put your hands on your face and push, as if to push him from your head. The ship continues out its starboard arc, away from Darkside, away from Lane, but you can't help but feel that some part of him is still there, behind your eyes, concealed beneath the pain of that snapped finger. It takes a long time before you are ready to discuss everything. First, there was the journey to the yard and disembarking from the freighter, then explaining to the waiting crew why their ship was impounded, something Marko offered 1,000 apologies for. Thankfully, the crew of the ship that brought you out of Darkside sent by Ankhita took the others aside and settled them. Through the promise of remuneration or the threat of violence, you aren't sure, but you expect they will leave together for Darkside soon. You do your best to explain your encounter with Ankhita to your crew, but the mention of her name sets off a significant reaction and bliss. It seems the two have history, a relationship that fell apart. Bliss removes themselves from the conversation, and later on you find them in the birds, staring at the wall. The whole time you find yourself in a daze, your skin hurts and your muscles tremble. You don't feel yourself. You rest for a while, and as you do, conversations echo around you, until you find yourself able to rise. Sleeper. Marko comes to you in the quiet of the rig. Can we speak a moment? Go ahead. Marko nods. Thank you, Sleeper. Looks down. I know I almost cost you everything. You have to understand something. They caught me. I was looking for someone important to me. That was why I wanted to come with you. I just wanted to get a message to him and to know that he was alright. Screws up his face, each word bringing him pain. I admit I thought I might be able to bargain on his behalf to get us both out. Bargain using my life? Marko can't bring himself to confirm it, but you both know it to be true. All I can say is... sorry. Look, you can use the yard when you get back to the Scatteryards. There are some components in there, take what you want. I'm going to stay here a while. He does not meet your eye. He simply turns away and drifts down the corridor. As he does, Seraphim passes him by, receiving no acknowledgement. Seraphim gives you a questioning look. Marko leaves. What happened out there, Sleeper? Boat's there, stretching his scarred arm. The protective sleeve has been wearing since. The far spindle finally removed. Looks good. Yeah, finally. Oh my gosh, but repaired arm, for sure. Utsubo are fighting amongst themselves. Explain about the meeting you witnessed, the conflict between Orn and Daichi, and Ankhita's intervention. Explaining Ankhita takes a little more effort, but you try to remember everything that happened. You explain Ankhita's insistence that she was working against Darkside and how she got you off the station. You explain that Utsubo itself is coming apart with Lane absent, and that this will draw his focus away from the two of you. Seraphim waits until you have finished to respond. So, does Ankhita get herself inside Utsubo? Raises an eyebrow. Just to try to break their grip on Darkside. Take some balls. You explain the drive, mention Olivera, Carmen, and then hold up the thumbnail drive, the one Ankhita entrusted you. Olivera. Screws up his face. I've heard of it. Maybe once or twice. I just assumed it was some backwater colony. I never met a Carmen, though. What's in that thing? Seraphim nods at the thumbnail dive. Something incriminating? Incriminating for who? Seraphim raises an eyebrow. They makes the law on Darkside. If they were going to lock him up for his cruelty, they would have done so already. I don't get it. Seraphim raises an eyebrow. We just delivered this little mystery drive and that's all? He looks away deep in thought. Is that what you want to do next? Olivera. You've never even heard of it, but it seems like the place to go if you want to help Ankhita fight back against Lane. You look at the drive, and as you do, you can't help but feel you are being used, not for the first time. One thing I will say, Seraphim begins, clearly thinking out loud. If we want to head back to Darkside, take on Lane, we are going to need to do so on our ship this time. Some crews get spoof transporters, send out a signal matching in our ship. Shrugs. I'm going to get one fitted here, but that's something we need to look out for. Sure, you think. Go back to Darkside where Lane waits. A shudder of fear runs through you, thinking of the moment he slipped into your mind on the freighter. If you go back there, you know you'll need something to counteract him. But you also recall Overseer's presence in that moment too, his strange form holding its shape as Lane tried to override your control. Perhaps Overseer has a way for you to resist his signal. Your mind whirls with possibilities and problems. Is this really the right move to go back to the place that almost killed you twice? To take Lane on? Seraphim looks at you expectantly. We're thinking, Sleeper. We need to prepare. Cannot agree more. Seraphim shakes his head. Next time will be different. We'll be ready. Come up with fighting. We'll come up fighting and Lane won't have a clue what's hidden. We need work. We need a crew. Seraphim starts counting off his fingers. We need to take that thing to Olivera and we need you strong, Sleeper. Speaking of, Seraphim takes out a box of components. I kept myself busy these past cycles working in the fabricator base on the Scatteryards. I figured you could use some spares. But first, Seraphim takes a calming breath. We rest.